the first thing we need to make with the drawers are the sides. And as I mentioned, I want the runners to be about there. And it really doesn't matter whether they're here or here or here, just somewhere roughly in the middle. And I've already gone ahead and pre-cut all of this material so that we save a little bit of time here. And these are just pieces of oak, 3/4 inches by a little more than a half. And we're going to fasten those on there, and I'm going to screw them on there, and I'll tell you why when we get to that part. But right now, what we need to do is go to the table saw and cut some dados for these for the sides. And while I'm at the table saw, I might as well cut the slots for the bottoms of the drawers to go in. So I'll do that. And I don't have a blade narrow enough to cut this, so I'm going to have to use this blade twice. So I'll make a couple passes on each board with this. And I've marked them all ahead of time, so I make sure I don't make any mistakes with this. You know, there's all sorts of different ways of making drawers, and this drawer, one of the bad sides of these drawers is they're only a foot, sort of a foot deep, and because of that, normally what I would do is cut a dado on the end for the back to go on, but by the time I do that, I'm going to take up about an inch, in fact, maybe even a bit more than an inch of the back drawer, so of the sort of the inside diameter of the drawer. So what I'm going to do in this case, and I'm going to do the same thing in the front, I'm actually going to cut a rabbet in the front and in the back, and I'll attach the front and the back that way. And I think I'll use epoxy glue, and I'll use some air nails on there, and that'll make that really strong. So I'm just going to go ahead now and cut the rabbets for this, and then we'll go over and start doing some fitting. Okay, I'm back at the tables now, and you can see that I've got some blocks here, and that's to elevate this, and you can't really see here because of this, but this is just falls below these side rails here. So what I'm going to do now, I've got my little runners that are going to go in here, and I can just put those through like that, and if I move this forward, you can see how they come out the other end there, like that, and if I move that forward a bit, you can see that. So what I'm going to do, basically with these runners, and you're not going to be able to see it, so I'm just going to do it off camera, I'm going to drill a couple of holes in these, one in the back, one in the middle, and one in the other end, and I'm just going to screw them to the carcass here so that we'll have something to slide on. So when we come back, that'll be done, and we'll be starting to work on the dimensions of the drawer. Okay, you can see I've got the strips in the sides there now, the rails for the drawers to slide on, and as you recall, there's the side, one of the side rails, and that's the back. Remember, we cut a rabbet in the back, and that's where part of the that's where the back will go in. But I'll be honest with you, I've been struggling about what to do with the fronts. Typically, I would do a rabbet, but because the way the fronts, the display front is going on, I didn't quite know what to do. So I've gone to my Lynn Sabin box joint jig design, and I've cut some box joints on there to see what that would look like. So this is my Lynn Sabin box joint jig, and rather than show you all of this, I'll get a start on this, but rather than show you all of this, what I'm going to do is I'll put a link to where I made this and how to set this up, and you'll be able to see that. If you're new to the channel, you'll be able to go and see. In fact, there's even plans. Lynn Sabin graciously gave us all plans that have been posted on one of the websites, so we'll let you go and see that as well. So I'm going to go ahead and do this. I've got all 4 slides in now, all of the sides, all of the sliders, and then I'll do the fronts next. I'll do both of those at the same time. All right, let's get going. Okay, and there's that drawer. It took a bit of a struggle to get these box joints to come together because they're pretty tight. But I've already tested this, so I already know this goes in, and that's how it slides. Now, I don't have the back in there, so it's moving around a little bit in the back, but my main concern is the front. Now, you'll see some holes here, and that's because I haven't taken out the slide yet, and there's also a little bit of a hole down here, which will be covered by the faceplate, but that's the slide for the bottom of the drawer. So anyway, it looks all good. I'm going to go ahead now and glue this up. And I'm not going to show you this because it takes so long to do, but we'll glue each of those pins, and then we'll put the back on. Then we'll be able to slide the bottom on, and we'll be able to start finishing up that drawer. Well, there's our drawer all nicely glued up, and it fits in there nicely. The next thing we need to do now is put a bottom on that drawer. Okay. We just need to slide that back in there. There it goes. That's a little snug. Good. There we go. Well, after a little bit of fiddling, you can see that I finally got those drawers set in there. What I'm going to do now is just glue this face to the carcass of the drawer, and then it'll be ready for finishing and some hardware. Well, that completes the video on making the little bedside tables, and now we finally have the drawers in there as well, complete with the spalted alder fronts. And I did put a couple of coats of Osmo on there so you can see what that looks like. It really makes those fronts pop. What I don't have is any hardware, and I tried a few things that I didn't really like. For some reason, I really like metal hardware, and all the wooden ones that I tried, I just didn't like. So I'm not going to rush putting hardware on. I'll find the right thing, and when I do, I'll put it on. Maybe I'll remember to take a picture to show you what they look like when they're finally completed. Anyway, that completes this series. I'm Colin Canet for WoodWorkWeb. Thanks for watching.